4:17 a.m. A nuclear warhead detonates over a Polish city. Sirens wail. The world holds its breath. In the blink of an eye, the ordinary peace of a European morning is shattered. Just hours before, families slept soundly, streets were quiet, and life moved forward as it always had. But now, chaos erupts. Windows shatter, emergency lights flicker, and the sky glows with an unnatural, terrifying light. News spreads at lightning speed, first as rumors, then as horrifying confirmation. Social media explodes with panic and disbelief. Governments scramble to verify what has happened, while millions of people across continents wake up to a new, darker reality. This isn't just a story, it's a warning of how quickly our stability can collapse. In a world that has grown used to peace, the unthinkable has happened, and the first 72 hours will decide the fate of nations. The moment of impact is both instant and eternal. A blinding flash lights up the horizon, followed by a thunderous shock wave that flattens buildings and sends debris flying for miles. In the heart of the city, silence is replaced by screams, alarms, and the desperate cries of survivors. Streets that were empty just minutes before are now filled with chaos. People running, searching for loved ones, stumbling through smoke and rubble. The first wave of casualties is overwhelming. Hospitals, already strained, are inundated with the injured. Emergency responders, many of them caught in the blast themselves, struggle to organize rescue efforts amid the devastation. Across the world, newsrooms erupt into frantic activity. Anchors interrupt regular programming, their faces pale as they deliver the breaking news. A nuclear strike has hit Poland. Social media feeds are flooded with images and unverified reports, amplifying confusion and fear. Governments issue emergency statements, urging calm but offering few answers. The sirens continue to wail, echoing through the ruins, as the reality of what has just happened begins to sink in. In the first 6 hours, panic and confusion grip Poland. Emergency sirens blare as authorities rush to evacuate survivors from the blast zone, guiding crowds through shattered streets toward makeshift shelters. Medical teams set up triage centers in schools and churches, treating burns, radiation sickness, and trauma with dwindling supplies. The sheer scale of the disaster overwhelms local hospitals, forcing doctors to make impossible choices about who receives care first. Meanwhile, the Polish military mobilizes, deploying troops to maintain order, secure critical infrastructure, and prevent further chaos from taking hold. Beyond Poland's borders, NATO springs into action. An emergency meeting is convened within minutes, with leaders joining via secure lines from across Europe and North America. Airspace over Eastern Europe is locked down, and fighter jets are scrambled to patrol the skies. Intelligence agencies work around the clock, piecing together the origins of the attack and searching for signs of further threats. Allies share real-time data, while diplomats issue urgent calls for restraint to prevent this from escalating into a wider war. With every passing minute, the risk grows. As the shockwaves from the strike ripple across the globe, world leaders are thrust into crisis mode. In Washington, the U.S. president convenes the National Security Council before dawn, surrounded by generals, intelligence chiefs, and top advisors. The Situation Room is tense. Every option is on the table, from immediate military response to urgent diplomatic outreach. Across the Atlantic, European leaders hold emergency summits, their faces drawn with worry as they debate the invocation of NATO's Article 5, the collective defense clause that could turn this single attack into a world war. In Moscow, the Kremlin issues a carefully worded statement denying any involvement and warning against hasty conclusions. Russian forces are placed on high alert, and nuclear capable units are quietly repositioned. China, watching events unfold with grave concern, calls for restraint and offers to mediate, but also moves to secure its own borders. Diplomatic hotlines between capitals burn with activity, messages of solidarity, veiled threats, and desperate pleas for calm. Meanwhile, the world's media explodes with speculation. Analysts warn of a new arms race, and social media becomes a battleground of rumors and misinformation. Some leaders urge patience, fearing a rush to judgment could spark a wider conflict. Others, fueled by outrage, demand swift retaliation. As the second day dawns, the world teeters between unity and division. In Poland, mass evacuations continue under the constant threat of radiation and further attacks. Highways are clogged with desperate families fleeing west, while trains and buses run non-stop, carrying thousands toward safety. Humanitarian agencies flood the borders, setting up emergency camps and distributing food, water, and medical aid. The scale of the crisis is staggering, and the need grows by the hour. Behind the scenes, a new front opens in cyberspace. Sophisticated cyber attacks target government networks, power grids, and communication systems across Europe. Misinformation spreads like wildfire. False reports of additional strikes, doctored images, and conspiracy theories sow confusion and fear. Social media platforms struggle to keep up as panic threatens to outpace the facts. Within NATO, unity is tested as never before. Some member states, led by those closest to the blast, demand immediate invocation of Article 5 and a coordinated military response. Others urge caution, insisting on a thorough investigation before crossing the threshold into open war. Heated debates erupt in closed-door meetings, with leaders weighing the risks of escalation against the dangers of inaction. The world's eyes are fixed on Brussels, where every statement is scrutinized for signs of resolve or hesitation. As the crisis enters its third day, the world stands at a crossroads. In war rooms across Europe and North America, military and political leaders debate the most consequential decision of their lives. Should NATO launch a retaliatory strike, or is there still a chance for diplomacy to prevail? The tension is palpable. Maps are spread across tables, red phones ring with urgent updates, and every word is weighed for its potential to ignite or diffuse the conflict. On the streets, fear and uncertainty hang heavy in the air. Families huddle in shelters, glued to radios and phones, desperate for news. Some cling to hope, praying that cooler heads will find a way out. Others brace for the worst, convinced that the world is sliding toward all-out war. Protests erupted in major cities, with citizens demanding both justice and restraint. Meanwhile, back-channel negotiations intensify. Neutral countries and international organizations scramble to broker a ceasefire, offering last-minute proposals and guarantees. The momentum toward escalation is strong, but the hope for peace refuses to die. In these critical hours, the fate of nations hangs in the balance. History is filled with moments when the world stood on the brink. The Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962 brought the superpowers within a hair's breadth of nuclear war, only to be pulled back by last-minute diplomacy and a willingness to listen. In 1983, the Able Archer exercise nearly triggered disaster when miscommunication and mistrust led the Soviet Union to prepare for a possible first strike. Each time, catastrophe was averted, not by strength alone, but by restraint, dialogue, and the recognition of our shared vulnerability. Yet, as this current crisis unfolds, old mistakes resurface: rushed decisions, misinformation, and the temptation to answer fear with force. The lessons of the past are clear, but too often ignored in the heat of the moment. History's warnings are louder than ever. The path to survival lies not in escalation, but in understanding, patience, and the courage to choose peace over pride. The first 72 hours are just the beginning. The choices made now will echo for generations, shaping not only the fate of nations, but the lives of millions. In a world where the line between peace and chaos can vanish in an instant, awareness is our greatest defense. Stay informed, question what you hear, and never underestimate the power of a single decision. The story of this crisis is still being written, and its ending depends on the wisdom and courage of those who act today. The future remains unwritten. Let's hope it is one of restraint, reason, and hope. Thanks for watching. If you found this thought provoking, please like and subscribe for more content that explores the critical issues of our time.